We have people in this room who are multi-millionaires because they have learned how to store and selectively apply information about their respective fields. What's important for you to know is that they are willing to share their knowledge with the younger people in this room and seasoned people who want to become successful themselves. That's why the focus of tonight's gathering is called Leading with Wisdom and Succeeding with Purpose. There's another factor that influences everything: culture. Being a successful Black business person is not a topic someone can teach you in school. There are lessons that you have to know about how the game of business is being played really, if you want to achieve your goals. What you will find out is this knowledge can't come from hearsay or TikTok. It's gifted by experience. Now, one of the first things experience teaches you is that the people who do the least amount of bragging often have the most to be said. At one time, the phrase was speak softly and carry a big stick. Why is knowing that important? We don't want you to overlook the giants among you because most of them aren't flashy. Like the person who will address you in a few minutes. The woman you're about to meet always wears a smile, but know this: that smile hides incredible analytical skills. Her company in the past 26 years provided air traffic control services to more than 22 airports in 5 states, 2 US territories, and the country of Bermuda. In November, she was awarded a multi-million-dollar Federal Aviation Administration prime contract. She now provides air traffic control services to 27 airports in 9 states, including 5 airports in Georgia. She is the nation's only woman and minority to own a business engaged in providing air traffic control services to the federal government. Please welcome the founder and CEO of the award-winning global air navigation service provider and information technology company, CI Squared Aviation, Ms. Andrella Kenner. And by the way, she is the Atlanta Business League's board chair.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's a beautiful evening when you're out of traffic. So anyway, thank you so much, Leona, for that very nice introduction. But let me say, I hide my analytical skills. I know when to use them. I'm a serial entrepreneur, and I've owned several successful companies. I'm a simple method for doing that. No matter where you go, I make sure I know the topic better than anyone, and anything I need to know, I make sure I know it better than the next person. Knowledge is really power. Let me say that I am thankful to be here tonight, and I am grateful to be in front of all of these audience of great people. Leona was absolutely correct. It is a lot of multimillionaires in this room. Okay. Knowledge, I said, was really power. But one of the foundational facts of being a Black business owner is knowing how to size up both peers and competitors. Then you learn to scale the amount of information you choose to share up or back down, depending on who you're talking to. I am the founder and owner of an air navigation service providing company, which we provide air traffic control services, as Leona said. I've been in business for 32 years as of February 1st, 2025. My company, CI Squared Aviation, has managed more than 55 million aircraft operations for over 26 years, and we have never had a fatality due to controller error. Now, I just want to give a shout out to let you know that our industry is really suffering right now. And that means a lot when I say that. As a woman-owned business owner, I've always walked into the room with confidence, expertise, and a strong presence for the command and respect. My knowledge and professionalism and ability to build meaningful connections set me apart, making it clear I'm a leader in that field. I don't just take up space, I make an impact, and that's very important for business owners in this room. I've gotten into many exclusive rooms, I've sat at many tables, but there was no one in that room that looked like me. Starting and running a business as a woman in a male-dominated industry has been like showing up for a chess match where everyone else knew the playbook, but I had to figure out while playing the game. Well, spoiler alert, I still learned how to win. The purpose of the bridge is to help everyone in this room that is seeking to go into business to win. One of the advantages of the bridge is you're receiving information from business veterans. I hope that what I and other professionals in this room share with you changes not only your perception about business, but also about who you want to be as a business leader. Let me leave you with one final fact. The most valuable assets in my company are the amazing people I work with. I hire the best and the brightest, and they're the reasons for my achievements. But you can choose the best if you don't strive to be among them. That's one of the things that I worked really hard at. Keep this in mind, that you make your decisions in life. Think about those things as you're going through building your business. Thank you for coming to the kickoff for this program. And if this is your first Atlanta Business League event, please come to all the signature events because they're just as magnificent as this one is. Thank you so much, and I look forward to meeting everyone in the room.
Thank you, Admiral Ken Mountain, and CEO of CI Square Aviation. She's a business superstar, right? Well, she's not the only one. Next, you're going to hear from Pedro Cherry. He's the president and CEO of the company that sponsors the Bridge program, Atlanta Gas Line in Chattanooga Gas.
Thank you very much. That was my presentation she gave in the introduction, by the way. That was good. I like that. Hey, good evening, everyone. As she mentioned, as president and CEO of Atlanta Gas Light and Chattanooga Gas, I have the privilege of leading a team that ensures millions of people and businesses in Georgia and in Tennessee have the energy they need to live, work, and thrive. I do that along with Tiffany Callaway Farrell in front here. 1.8 million households rely on us to keep their homes and premises warm, to keep the gas flowing so they can prepare nutritious meals, and also energize their high-intensity industrial processes. So I am privileged to hold a decision-making position in a very important industry. Our industry is foundational to America's clean energy future, growth, and prosperity. There are not a lot of people who look like me doing what I do. One of the reasons for that is few of us are mentored to choose energy as a career path or business choice. The stroke of good fortune that steered me in this direction occurred in college. When my dream of playing professional football, as she mentioned, was taken off the table because of injury, all I had to do then was complete my engineering degree. But once I did that, I wasn't quite ready to put it to use. So I reached out to a business leader who has now been a mentor and a father figure for more than 30 years. He helped me to secure an internship with the energy company, and he also advised me to add a concentration in my area of master's studies in finance. So that intern experience and a combination of engineering and finance have been vital and essential for me. His advice changed the trajectory of my impending career and my life. Now, I challenge each of you to seek out those relationships. The business leaders you meet in the Bridge program have the knowledge and experience to help you grow if you're willing to sacrifice, work hard, ask, listen, and learn. You know, in many cases, mentoring is an afterthought. But in my opinion, mentoring is essential to growth and success. Almost like natural gas and electricity are essential to a quality life. Now, your personal board of directors should include mentors with diverse backgrounds and experiences. I wouldn't be where I am today without my mentors answering my questions, providing clarity when I have doubts, sharing their experiences, and providing proactive encouragement, suggestions, and words of wisdom. I'm standing on their shoulders. Good mentors can help you develop the mental and emotional game plan necessary to win. So let me emphasize that without a resilient mental mindset and positive attitude, success is dubious. I believe that there are certain characteristics which can be learned and developed that can make a difference in your level of success. You'll learn what they are through the Bridge program. You also learn a central truth that all Black business owners know. There will be situations where you will find that there is not a level or even the same playing field. You have to learn how to respond in a manner that's productive without being discouraged or taking actions that are not conducive to you achieving your goals, actions that you may regret later. You have to always be strategic and maintain a long-term perspective. Now, being a successful business leader is not easy, but it's doable. For me, it's with my 3 Ps. They are partnership, perseverance, and purpose. And when you see me, I want you to see yourself. And remember the African proverb that we all know, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. So I want to thank the Atlanta Business League for offering this program. I also want to thank all the mentors for the dedication and guidance you're providing to the mentees here today. It is invaluable. Mentees, I look forward to hearing about your progress along the way. Tonight, you're taking the first step of your journey toward becoming a business leader that you aspire to be. You will learn about purpose, success, leadership, and wisdom. May they become keys to helping you advance in your professional lives. So the next person to speak to you is our moderator, Miss Bianca Frails. But first, please turn your attention towards the screen to see more about the Bridge program. Thank you.
I was really early in my career, starting my business. This amazing organization, which was the Atlanta Business League, had told me about the Bridge program and thought it would be a good opportunity for me to engage with other business owners, other entrepreneurs that may be able to provide some guidance for me. It came at the right time, right? So I'm a first generation entrepreneur, but I had certainly never seen entrepreneurs that look like me, that were also women, and that were running 7 to 8 figure businesses.
I was attending the Women of Vision breakfast that is hosted on every Super Tuesday for women. It was announced that ABL would be having a Bridge program, mentor-mentee program. Our goal as a company, because we had already been in business for several years, we wanted to be able to bridge the gap between companies that were older than ours and ourselves. There are not many resources for us to share amongst each other. ABL offers that door through membership, but the Bridge program gives you a personal touch to ensuring that those resources are shared amongst companies who are more mature than other companies to make sure we're able to pass on that knowledge from one legacy to another.
What does it take to grow a business? Connections, knowledge, opportunity. The Atlanta Business League's Bridge program helps young entrepreneurs take that next step. The Bridge program was created to do exactly what its name suggests: bridge the gap between small businesses and greater opportunities in corporate, government, and community sectors. Through mentorship, strategic connections, and hands-on training, the Bridge program equips business owners with the tools they need to scale, sustain, and succeed. It's a game changer for entrepreneurs looking to grow. Access to the right resources, relationships, and opportunities can make all the difference in business. Success isn't about what you know, but who you know and how you apply it. Whether you're looking to secure contacts, refine your business strategy, or expand your network, the Bridge program helps you move forward with confidence. The opportunities are here. Are you ready to seize them? Let's build together. Join the Bridge program today. Brought to you by the Atlanta Business League and sponsored by Atlanta Gaslight.
Well, the history of the bridge, Nito and I are going to be interactive and having a discussion part of the program. The Anchor for Rails is what happens when a talented person makes connection as an employee and then uses that knowledge to establish a business. She is a workforce development professional with more than 10 years of experience. Within the last year, she segued in the position of being a full-time business owner. Google her, visit her website, and get the guide she's put together for people just like you right now. Please welcome Bianca Brands.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you all again for taking the time to be here this evening and help us launch this program. In the next section, we're going to be a little bit more interactive, and we are going to hear from the people and the committee that have helped put this bridge program together. So we have Alexandria Ofer, Jeffrey Lofton, Kayla Romaine, and David Henderson. They're going to lead you guys in a discussion on the concepts of purpose, success, leadership, and wisdom. So we have a couple of prompts. Get your ideas together. We're going to have some small group discussions, or medium-sized groups, because a lot of you guys here. Some medium-sized group discussions around the tenets of this bridge program. So I'll give you some time to discuss, and then we'll give you 30 seconds to give some feedback.
So will the board discussion leaders please come forward and divide the room into groups?
And if you're a discussion leader, if you can raise your hand. So this front area will be a group, that back corner, that corner over there, and then this front corner right here.
So we were group one and we were talking about leadership, and our question, let me pull it up really fast. Sorry. Our question was about, I'll just paraphrase, was about communicating a clear vision for people to be able to follow. And some of our points were: start with why. Why do you do what you do? Setting that clear vision, having a clear vision that you're able to communicate, finding your tribe, walking what you're talking about, having accountability, not being afraid to mess up and then own it, and then understanding and speaking the language of those you are leading.
Come on, can we give them a round of applause? Those were some great points. All right, Davey, you ready?
Yes.
All right.
So I had this success group. Success, based off what I heard, essential topics were about starting from the ground up and trying to find a way to just make a way for yourself. And so obviously success has so many nuances. Majority of it was just literally coming up with a plan and figuring out a way to navigate it. So people starting businesses during the pandemic, really just starting with no help at all and feeling accomplished and proud of themselves thus far in the end.
All right. So I was given a very succinct timeline for this panel discussion, but for the benefit of the group, I want to make sure that you all get a chance to formally introduce yourselves. I'd like you to introduce yourself with a question. Tell your name, who you are, why you're here, and what has mentorship done for you in your career?
First of all, it's clear it's women against the men right now. No, I'm kidding. Kidding. Okay, so my name is Yolanda White. I am the founder and owner of Deo Women Loungewear. I call myself a entrepreneur that has become an entrepreneur in the last 7 years. So I've been running my business for 7 years. What was the other part of it? Oh, and what has mentorship, the reason why we are here, mentorship has really been a guidepost for me to become an entrepreneur. But even before becoming an entrepreneur, I have had the ability to leverage mentorship to have support for people to pour into me and to help guide me into the right direction in order to achieve success. I think I could say, like, my first mentor single-handedly, like, made me a millionaire just from their support. You know what I mean? Like, I can articulate that very clearly, and then we'll talk some more about it.
Hello, everyone. My name is Antoinette Ball. I'm one of the founders of the Women's Entrepreneurial Opportunity Projects Incorporated, a nonprofit Atlanta-based organization located in Grant Park. I've been doing nonprofit work for about 26 years. We support women in terms of businesses and what they want to do with their futures. How mentorship has impacted me. I think mentorship keeps you on track. It keeps you focused. It also widens your network of people that you connect with, people that you can do business with. So I think mentorship is very, very important.
All right.
Hi, everybody. I'm Ryan Wilson. I'm CEO and co-founder of The Gathering Spot, which means I work here.
Give it up for him.
Thank you. It's good to see y'all here, though, seriously. Mentorship. Well, you're going to meet my dad here in a second, and I have had the benefit of being able to, I guess, but more than mentorship, I've had a true, it's my father. And it makes a big difference. I mean, I've said from the very beginning, even outside of just this relationship, this isn't a me thing, it's a we thing. And everything that we've been able to accomplish now over almost 10 years at TGS, because a lot of good people have poured into us. We were 24 when we opened. So mentorship is really the explanation for how most of the business has been able to exist.
So good evening. I'm Mark Wilson. What am I supposed to say other than my name?
What do you do? Why are you here? And what mentorship has done for you?
Yeah. I'm here because Leona asked me to be here. And no, I'm joking. Seriously, I've had the benefit of being a part of a couple businesses, and I think there are a lot of stories that come out of that others can benefit from. And I think that's the answer to the question about the importance of mentorship, is that for me personally, I don't think that any of the experiences, successes, failures even, that I've had over time were really meant for just me. So I think God's purpose is for me to make sure everybody else gets whatever he's given to me. And so I think that's what mentorship is really all about. So it's pretty easy for me, as I'm trying to be obedient, to just talk about the stuff that's happened to me so somebody else can not make the mistake, or they can get the learning that I got and be successful because of it. So I'm excited to be here tonight. Hopefully somebody can get something from something I say.
I think each of you guys have a bunch of gems to give. And just for some additional context, Mark is Ryan's father, but Antoinette. Thank you. Go
Okay,
ahead.
but you can do it. Okay, so Antoinette she is doing so many amazing things, but our relationship is even more personal. So she is my mother's twin sister. So she's seen me throughout my entire life. So our stories are really good. Yeah. But I echo what you said, Ryan, about your dad. Like, there are people in your life that are bigger than just one word. And the impact that they have on your life is so multidimensional. We can probably all attest to that. But I think what we wanted to talk about is how we basically leverage our sense of community to empower each other and to empower all those women who are around us as well.
So thank you for that. You set me up for my next question. And it is going to be about community-centered mentorship. So as you all are at the Gathering Spot, you know that this is a community. Ryan and TK have done a great job of creating a community of business owners and entrepreneurs. But each of you guys lead businesses. So how do you create a culture of mentorship in your business as the leader, and then even as you go out in your networking at events like this?
You can start, Ryan.
I think it's by example. So I've even talking about relationships, father, son, parent, child. I don't know that we necessarily all the time are focused on what we do and how it impacts somebody else, they're always paying attention. And I noticed this with my kids, particularly later in life, that I can see me and them. So they learned that from me. I can see it. And I'm like, that was something I did. And so, I mean, it's the same thing, I believe, at work and in your businesses. How you lead, what you do, how you say. If you just stop sometimes and just think about the words, like there's one word that I say all the time. I hear everybody else on my team saying it all the time. Is everybody's paying attention. I think to the extent that you internalize that and know that they are, and be intentional about what you do, you don't even have to have a formal mentoring session where you're sitting down talking to somebody about this or that. It is just happening how you go about day-to-day life in whatever job or business that you own.
Yeah, I got. No, I was going to say that my mentorship relationship with Yolanda, when she made her transition from being an intrapreneur to an entrepreneur, it was so natural and organic because she was such a go-getter. So being in a mentorship role, it's just, I kind of opened up my resources to her, and she just sprout out there and would take advantage of everything. She's a master networker, just making suggestions to her, saying, Yolanda, this is what you may want to consider doing. It was just like a no-brainer. Yolanda is such a go-getter. She would just go out there and just do it.
She says she gave me consideration. She told me what to do. So the sense of community is so powerful that not only did you tell me what to do, you put amazing women around me that kept me inspired. So that sense of community, like some of them are in the room right now, that we connect together, we build together, and that is how we achieve success. So when I think about mentorship and community, it really is about give and take. So just as much as I am pouring into someone else and seeing opportunity, I feel like the same gift is given back to me. But it's my mentor who has established that and has taught me how to do it really well. So when I get the compliment from my mentor that I'm a go-getter, I'm like, well, honestly, you've kind of taught me and shown me exactly how to do that. And you put amazing people in front of me and around me to help me do that. So the doors that a mentor is able to open around not only resources, because you've done that, providing opportunities is something that Antoinette has also done. And it's so funny calling her Antoinette. She is my aunt, you guys. I call her auntie all the time. So, Antoinette right now on this panel. But I remember she called me and she was like, hey, I need you to go speak at Atlanta Rotary. And I go speak at Atlanta Rotary as a favor to her and as my mentor. But she was like, I think this will be really good for you to tell your story. And from that meeting, I think I've had like 5 different speaking engagements, and it's not just speaking. I mean, I get paid for them. So yes, give it up for her. But even beyond that, like our circle has been very supportive of Deo. So I'm laying that out to say the community is really important because it provides resources, it provides opportunities, but it also provides financial support for the business as well.
So we're going to get into that financial support piece in just a moment. But I have another question. Oh, yes.
Ryan,
go ahead, Ryan.
Oh, no, we can keep going. I can talk. I'll just say really quickly, the inside of, in the context of community, right, at the heart of what makes a community strong are strong relationships. If you look at the data around relationships, they really are the only things that help us actually get things done. There was some research I was looking at a couple weeks ago. It's like 87% of jobs tie back to a relationship. Yep. So we talk about it in this day and age, like just drop your resume in the random box, but that actually isn't the way that people are being employed. If you look at the number of deals in the startup context that are getting funded, relationships that are behind those things. So the importance of community is togetherness is what facilitates our ability to get things done. And when we do not do that very, very intentionally, we start to play the random and Dropbox part of that game where we just put our stuff out there and hope that it works out. I'm not saying that that's impossible, but the data shows us that the odds are not as good if you aren't really leveraging relationships to get things done.
Great point.
Thank you. So let's dive into that a little bit more. Sometimes, like you said, that kind of Dropbox, you're dropping your resume in someone's inbox, you're giving somebody your business card. Sometimes networking can really feel transactional. You may have your community that's going to give you that initial support, but when Auntie tells me to go stand in front of all these people, I have to be able to work that room. So how can we make sure that networking doesn't feel transactional? And that the mentorship is based on trust and authentic connections. And then a second part to that question is how can we show up authentically in these spaces where they may not be a part of our community? The people may not look like us. I may be the only Black person, the only woman, the only young person in the room. How do we build those authentic connections, especially when we feel like an outsider? Anyone can answer.
I want to say, I consider Yolanda like a master networker. She works a room and she has these strategies. So Yolanda, just kind of share.
We want tangible tips.
I make it personal. So
What you did with the Atlanta Opera this week.
oh my gosh, stop. I make connecting with people personal. I need to like you. So I want to ask you questions. I want to see something about you that I feel like I connect with. And if I do, you probably will get in my cell phone. Hello. And then we will talk. I will know personal things about you because I am making our connection personal. That's number one. Number two, I do make a list every month of 3 to 5 people that I want to pour into. And it looks different for each one of those individuals. I don't keep them on my list. Every month it changes, but I do pour in for that month. And I see if there's anything that's sticking there and if they're pouring back at me. If it sticks and it's a two-way relationship, I keep it going. If it doesn't, it's still cool. It's no hard feelings. I'm cool with the person and we just keep it moving. So I will invite you to my house. I will do personal things with you. If you do not accept, if you do not come, you move down on my list. That's how I work. So for me, I try to make it very personal. I know people very well. I know their personal lives. So even like I met Mark maybe 4 or 5 years ago, when he stood beside me, I had a story to tell him about his life. Like I know who I'm dealing with and who's in front of me. So that's how I really approach networking. I need to like you. I need to know you. I need to understand if you have a value that's worthwhile for me to connect with.
If I can borrow 5 seconds, right? I think we can demonstrate this more than we can even talk about it. And I'm sorry, y'all, I grew up in the church, so I'm going to ask you to do a favor. Talk to the person to your left and your right. Ask them how they're doing. Real quick. 5 seconds. Okay. Okay, time's up. Thank you. The answer to your question is what we just did. Right. And I would imagine that many people believe that they did that when they walked into the room, when you sat down, but you actually didn't do that, right? You didn't look actually and ask that question with real intention and actually listen to the answer to that question. So building relationships isn't about walking into a room with a stack of cards and like trying to be like one of those machines spraying them around, right? But like genuinely, to Yolanda's point, actually building a real connection with someone, asking them how they're doing. I would offer that the second thing that you can ask them is how you can help. Those two things will open more doors than in here with the dispenser of cards. I don't have one. I'm sure you don't have one. And some of y'all have that new technology with the taps, and I don't have that either. Because I'm only going to be able to get something done with you if I'm able to get to know you for real, right? So practice that. This is basic stuff, but it's the stuff that we don't actually do consistently.
Can I tell just a quick story? Yeah, it's to illustrate what Ryan is saying. I remember, and I really attribute this to most of the success that I've had, building companies and whatever. And I was a growing professional working in Dun & Bradstreet. They gave me an assignment to go to a call center that we had in Greensboro, North Carolina. Bad morale, everything bad. They said, go over there and do whatever you can and try to get things turned around. So for the first 3 weeks, I asked them not to hold me accountable to anything. All I wanted to do was to get to know the people there. So I made appointments, 300 people in that office. I made personal appointments with all 300, and I got to know them for half an hour, 45 minutes. It probably was the single most, if I just look back on my career, because we went on to be very successful. The center went from dead last to the highest, number one. out of all the rankings and whatever. And I learned so much, and I had that team completely behind me from that day, from those 3 weeks of interviewing, or having personal conversations with the folks that were in there, because all of them felt like they knew me. So my routine was to walk in the office, say hi to everybody in the office. I'd walk around, say hi. It was known when I wasn't at work because they were expecting me to walk by and say hi authentically as to who they were. It's just little things. It is not even rocket science or hard. You got to take the time to really get to know it. Nothing gets done without relationships. Nothing. I grew two businesses to very significant scale. One was north of 200 million in revenue. I did not hire one salesperson. I've never had a salesperson that worked on my team. It's just the relationships that I established over time. It's a true story. No, I'm not kidding about that. So
I was there.
That's amazing.
You attest.
So that's really great. So we're gonna make sure that we are making it very personal and we're building these genuine relationships. So once someone really gets to know you, and they have personal stories about you and you have personal stories about them, you guys have this authentic relationship. How can you navigate some of these perceived biases? So I'm a business person, I'm a businesswoman, I own my business, I'm trying to grow it to 200 million, but I have to be vulnerable and admit that I need help. So how can I navigate some of those real or perceived biases that come from being able to say, yes, I don't have it all together. You have something that I need, without feeling like you're exposing yourself or making yourself seem like you're incapable or incompetent?
Don't navigate it. Go straight through it. Like this is, we don't have time to be zigzagging through these conversations. If you look at the math again, many of us are in very similar circumstance. So you are going to be talking to someone that, if they're not there right now, they statistically used to be exactly where you feel like you are. We don't have time to be doing the roundabout version of this conversation. We got to get straight to it. I'm sure many of us have heard this saying, closed mouths don't get fed, but they don't. They do not. Like you have to absolutely tell folks what you need publicly, like super publicly, and you will be surprised by how it returns back to you by just letting folks know what you're looking for. So tonight, if you are looking for a thing, do not leave this room, get in your car and go home and not have told a single person about the main thing that you're trying to solve in your business.
This is an area that I struggle with. You want to jump in?
I just want to say one thing. Don't be discouraged if you cannot find that perfect mentor, because that might take a while. And I've heard a lot of entrepreneurs say, hey, maybe it's not the right time. So maybe use that time to information gathering.
Yes.
Your mentor could be a book. Your mentor could be a YouTube video as you're looking for that right fit, because you may not walk away with just the right person at that time. I just wanted to kind of add that. Don't be discouraged.
So I'm connecting with this. So that's why you want me to do it. This is an area that I struggle with, because I don't believe that you should tell everybody everything and all your intentions, but that's just me. So I believe being very purposeful. If you know and you are having the conversations, then you should be having purpose-driven conversations with the right people and the right level of people to help you with the goal. I think, like, when you are in a room, for me, it's all about, let's make sure we connect, we understand each other, but I don't always have to I don't feel like I need to wear what it is I want to achieve everywhere I go and make that known in every single room, because everyone can't move that needle for me. And so when you talk about like networking, for me, it's about connection first. And then as we connect and I understand your network and you understand mine, there might be people that I could say, oh, you're in that circle. Well, if you could, there is something that would be really important that I would love to understand if you're open to exposing me to that circle. But first, I think the baseline is you just have to meet people, understand them, see what their circles are, be around them a little bit. So coffee shop should be your best friend, so you're not spending all your money on dinners all the time with people that may not. The gathering spot works really, really well. I don't know if the free breakfast is still happening, but that was our thing back in the day. Like, yeah, Ryan's paying for breakfast. Let's go.
And lunch too.
So
Get 'em in.
I don't know. This is one area I think it's, yes, you should be walking out of the room with a number, 1 to 5 numbers for sure. How you want to carry that into expressing your intentions is really up to you.
So what's beautiful about this is like I agree, right? So what I wasn't saying is just anybody all the time, but as to the point about being purposeful, you need to be direct about what it is.
Okay, fine.
And on top of that, though, I think that part of the thing that we suffer from too often is that we have secrets that aren't actually secrets, right? So like protecting an idea that actually isn't a thing yet. I mean, what you protecting? Like you got to tell people about something so they can make a connection, right? A lot of times folks will be like, "Hey, what are you working on?" And it's like, And I'm like, "Well,
It's a secret.
it's a secret." And it's like, "Well, when can we know about it?" I don't know.
When you're ready to talk about it, I would love to hear about your secret. Yeah.
But don't tell me it's a secret. Like, get me to a place where someone can actually be helpful, which means that you're gonna have to open your mouth and actually say something.
So one other thing I use with networking. So this is networking over mentoring. I do every place that I go to. I actually research who will be there, and I make a list of 1 to 3 people, and I know who I'm going to meet before I get in the room, at least at a minimum. So it requires you to be fearless, to be able to introduce yourself, to have your elevator speech ready because you know what you want to achieve with that person in order to make a connection. So that is one thing that I do make it a list. Make it a point.
Leona reminded me, we were having a prep call before this, and she reminded me of a story that I told at some point in one of the meetings that we've been in the same room together about. And it's about this topic about networking. And I was recalling that when I first started out, I felt like I was wasting a lot of time going to all of these events like this. And it'd get to be like, nothing's going to happen there. I'm going to go in the room and I'm just going to waste the time. But I just kept going. I kept going, and I would do some of what's been talked about here. I'm not the guy. I'm not to go up to you and say hi and start. I don't do that very well. Once I get into a conversation with you, it's good. And so I can be intentional about somebody I see in a room and go talk to them about something because I think there's something for me to talk to them about. But there was this one example of this. The GMSDC, some of you guys might know about the GMSDC. They used to have networking brunches at Maggiano's on Wednesdays. And I was way up in Kennesaw. So it was, I had to get my mind together. I had to get my mind right every time on Wednesday to drive down from Kennesaw down to Maggiano's in Buckhead for these networking sessions. But I would go because I was getting in the room and everybody started to know that I was the guy that was doing call center work. And I remember that there was this lady, Gwen Wilson was her name, from Verizon. She lived in Dallas, but she was coming to that networking session. She spoke, and afterwards I went up to her and I said, I'm Mark Wilson, I have a call center business, and I'd really like at some point for you to get a chance to see it. And so next time you're in town, if you make the time, I'd like to show you my center. So she did that. The next time she came to town, she called me, and she came out to the call center. She was impressed with it, and long story short, Verizon became a $90 million customer for me. $90 million a year. Like so there's something to wasting time and going and making yourself drive from Kennesaw to Buckhead or wherever it is to be in the room. Because you don't know what relationship it is. And if you don't do what's been said here and really go up and intentionally say who you are and what you do, like if I never did that, just think if I never did that. If I didn't go up and say, hi, I'm Mark, this is what I do, can you come to Ryan's point, being very direct and intentional about what I was wanting her to do, then that contract never happens. And life and history about our business is very different. Sorry, that was a long
No,
question.
it's okay. You set me up.
Yes.
Okay.
You got to 90 million. I was like, oh, okay, I like that.
So that's my next question. So to get to the $90 million annual, the $90 million a year contract, we're going to talk quickly about, not too quickly, access to capital. Somebody on this panel often says that Black-owned businesses are over-mentored and underfunded. And I think we can all agree on that. But we're here to demonstrate how that mentorship, how those things are connected. So one question I have is, how can you leverage, once you've made those connections, how do you go about leveraging the mentorship relationship so that you can get access to resources, whether it be capital, whether it be a connection? How are you navigating some of these funding challenges and using mentorship as a tool?
Yeah, I'll start here if I can. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. I'll be quiet.
No, I just wanted to say something about getting out of your comfort zone. Do things that you wouldn't normally do to pitch with networks that you would not normally be in. That could really expand your network, which is very, very important. Having access to a wider network of, it may not be all Black or it may not be, but just doing things that you wouldn't think about doing.
I'm going to decode what she said. Be in the room where the money is. If there's be where the money resides. Go ahead.
Yeah, and so it's a shame how many I think of our businesses that get funded. It's a very small percentage. There's not that many that have actually raised capital, and I think it's on me as a person that's raised a lot of capital over the years, probably 300, 350 something. It's a big number, million that I've raised for the three businesses. That we provide the information and the connections, and that you reciprocate and take advantage. Like one of the things we were getting on this call the other day, prepping for this, I was asking. I've been part of a network that's what they're trying to do is to put entrepreneurs like you in the room to learn about different sources for capital. So I asked, I'm on this panel, can we put the QR code up so that everybody can click on it and get a chance to be a part of this cohort that can get them in the room with some of the money? So I think everybody, for whatever seat that you're sitting in, where you have something that somebody else can benefit from, you got to try to do something to help, move this along. So.
Just very quickly on the raising capital piece and a practical step. I think that we've raised, call it $25 million over the last decade or so for TGS related things. And thank you. I mean, there's a whole other conversation because that's like a lot and a little at the same time, which is, again, another family discussion we need to have. But if you're out there raising capital, I had a very important moment early on in this journey. I was talking to an investor, potential investor. He told us no. But I went through our whole pitch deck. He crossed out a bunch of things, tore out some pages, truly, and was like, this is terrible. But one of the things that he said to me in the conversation, he was like, next time you come and talk to me, lie to me. And I was like, well, my dad told me that, like, we don't lie in the Wilson household. But what he was trying to reinforce was that I was just thinking way too small about the opportunity, right? So we have a lot of conversations about start, but we don't have as many conversations about scale. And sometimes the scale conversation is going to feel like a lie, right? So he wasn't actually telling me to lie, but he was telling me to believe in what I was going to share enough at a big enough scale that it would feel that way a little bit to me, because ultimately that was the only type of opportunity that him and other people would be interested in being involved in. So there is a version of the gathering spot that's 2,500 square feet. One thing my dad said early to me that I tell to our team all the time, we were in conversation about a similar thing. He said, son, small ideas will keep you small. You have to fight for the best possible version of your idea.
Absolutely.
So what is the best possible version of your idea?
All right. So we thank you so much for that. We are about to get into the Q&A. So if you have a question, go to those two microphones there. But I do want us to give each of our panelists one opportunity to give some closing remarks. And with that, I'm going to set that question up with practice makes purpose. And as you guys have mentioned, we want to be purposeful as we're going into these rooms, purposeful as we're building these relationships. But networking is very exhausting. So I would like for you guys to close out with letting us know, how can we stay tapped in when we're tired? Because these transactional conversations, I'm trying to build a relationship, and you don't know me, and you don't like me, and I don't trust you. How do we stay tapped in when we're tired? And if you guys have questions, you guys can go ahead and move to the mics or raise your hand, and we'll get in the Q&A after this. Each of you
I
guys
was
can-
gonna change this all. My conclusion was about, I don't know if it's harder to be a mentee or a mentor. Both are very important. And the one thing I think we talk a lot about the networking, but really where the purpose of this is all about, once you have the relationship, how do you mine it? How do you grow it? How do you work it in a way that it becomes tangible? So as a mentee, and I sit on both sides as a mentee, and Antoinette is one of my mentors, but I also am a mentor to many women. And what I would say is it's a give and take, pour into, and be vulnerable about what it is you need help in that relationship if it's real for you. And your mentor might be able to satisfy it and they may not, but sometimes even as a mentor, I have found that my mentee has been very helpful for me as well. So it's really important as a mentee to understand where your value is and where you can give value to your mentor and vice versa. I do like those organic relationships that are more connected, where we are not completely tethered, but like there is a connection that brings us together beyond, I have something I need from you, or you have something, that you can do for me. So keeping some cadence, some sense of connection. And when you're really tired, I think it's really important to stay focused on the people that really do make the difference for you. That's what I would say.
Right, go ahead.
I would say really surround yourself around a powerful group of people that support what you're trying to do.
Oh, that was quick. Thank you. Ryan?
I think our tradition shows us that if we stick in the fight long enough, that we're successful. So you have to remember the tradition that we come from, and that the storm will run out of rain. You'll get through it.
I just think tired is a state of mind. You just have to, and it sounds easy, but you just have to power through it. You have to put one foot in front of the other. It's not going to be easy every day. Some days going to be really good and you're going to feel great, but you just got to kind of flatline it and be focused on what the end goal is. James Cleveland, I don't feel no ways tired.
All right, well, thank you. All right, we're gonna get into our Q&A. If we can keep our questions to 1 minute and our answers to 1 minute.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Hey.
what's up?
Thanks, first of all, so much for being here. My name is Howard Shula, teacher here. I work within the IT field, and I'm very curious. I'm in the midst of walking into consultation, right? And I'm curious if anybody on the panel, if all of you on the panel have an experience on valuing services, right? The United States, for the vast majority of the past few years, has been a service economy. How does one, in your experience, go about valuing services? Things that are intangible. We talk about products and spaces and retail, but services and expertise.
I think any business, it doesn't matter it doesn't matter what it is, has a service component to it. And I don't think any business can be successful unless that service is good, and that you have to focus on making it that. And so, I think you're asking, is it significant or important? I think it's everything.
Are you talking about the cash?
You're talking about pricing. How do I
Talking about
price my
pricing.
services and demonstrate that
Talking about how you
mine
price
is
it.
worth $90 million a year annually?
Pricing what you do? Okay. It's market driven. I mean, you whatever space that you're in, there's trends and information. You're not the only person doing what you're doing, and customers are not only buying it from you. So there's information and data that's available for you to compare. And then it's about distinguishing yourself from whoever else is doing it. If you want to have a different price than what the market bears, you got to support that by whatever it is that you're doing that's different and better.
I also I provide services. I provide program management services, marketing services, and I just talk to my peers. I ask them what they're charging. We usually have a different subset of clients, but I'll ask them what they're charging, what they're doing, what the work is. I look at rate sheets. You can call people and ask for quotes for the similar services, and then see how much value they're providing, and put your tax on top of it.
You need to. This is a good question, important question though too, because you can lock yourself out by being too proud of whatever it is that you're doing. You should let the market and whatever else is out there guide you. And if you can support something that's different, then bring that support into it. But be careful because you can lock yourself out and then get a reputation as being overpriced.
All right, perfect.
All right.
Thank you. Next question.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sebastian Godin, and I own Inches Gourmet Hot Dogs. So the concept is where size matters. I wanted to shoot my shot today, Yolanda. You caught my eye. We spoke earlier on, but I would love to talk to you about being a mentor to me. Right now, I'm in the space of building my business. I've been able to have a few pop-ups that were successful, and I've had traction online, but I'm at that part of trying to find funding. So I would love to discuss more with you or anyone else interested.
Yolanda's perfect for that. She got plenty of money.
See, there we go, Yolanda.
That I'm gonna pull from him. Okay, cool. No,
Okay.
I love that. First of all, thank you for being so brave. And I actually enjoyed our interaction sitting there because you like lamb chops.
I
These
sure
are
do.
the things that I notice and we talk about. But I think, yeah, I would love to. So let's talk off.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, look at us putting the ask publicly directly to work. So we're gonna go to the next question.
Yes, hi, thank you. My name is Brandon Carter. I'm a consulting firm, and I wanted to talk about the networking aspect. I'm curious how, when you're out there networking, how do you nurture some of the connections that you have and prioritize which relationships to nurture? And if you actually have any techniques to keep up with it, because getting all these business cards and making these connections, there's just so much. So how do you know which ones to actually nurture?
Yolanda has a process.
I mean, I email, I call, I make sure that after I meet somebody, I follow up. So like I'll send a text message it depends on whatever information they give me. I'll send a text message. I basically prioritize on response level. Now, if there's someone who has a particular title and I know I need something very specific from them, I'll follow up. You cannot be too proud to continue to follow up with people because they're busy, they have things going on. So I try to prioritize either on like the importance of where they are and what they do and or their response level, one or the other. But I make a list. It's a serious game for me. I make a list of names of people who I meet. I follow up. I have checklists on how many times I leave you behind after a certain number. I have it's a whole thing. It's serious because our time is so valuable, you guys. Like it is a limited resource. So either people are willing to be in a game with you or they're not. And if they're not, for me, I keep it moving. So that's
One last thing, every person in that process is significant. What we talked about.
I treat everybody as if they are a VIP. And that is a part of my philosophy. I don't think of you have this amount of money or you're at this level. Everyone to me is a VIP. And that has been my philosophy forever. The admin is just as important as the VP for me, as the president. Yeah.
More important if you actually want to get to the VP, right? But yeah, you got to know the person that's with the person. That's like key to networking, honestly. Like all the people that you've seen on this stage are some really, really big names. I don't know any of those people, but I know their people, right? And so that's how we've been able to make a lot of that stuff happen. To the heart of your question, though, when you reach back out, be as specific as possible in what you like. Don't write it was great to see you. I would love to pick your brain
Please don't.
about, and then it's just ... Oh, and then, thank you. I love ChatGPT. I love all of these tools. I appreciate the clap in the back. Everybody can tell, though, that you are using and overusing those tools. So please do not do that in a way that like you still have to be there, right? There are weird things that are being bolded and words like thrilled that are showing up. we're not all thrilled and delighted to meet each other. It's not the way that we mostly speak to each other. So get again back to the heart of your question. Write with intention to whoever it is. And not just, it was great to connect, let's get coffee, because that's not gonna get scheduled.
Oh, no.
But like something specific that you want to accomplish, folks will engage from there.
And if you're trying to build a habit, schedule the follow-up. If you met someone, put it on your calendar to follow up with them in 3 weeks or 6 weeks or a month or whatever, and put in your notes on your calendar what you asked, tag whatever the last email was. That's how I built a habit of it. And then in the military, they have a phrase called bottom line up front. So to Ryan's point, start with whatever the request is or the ask, kind of succinctly put that in the front, give additional context, and ask again at the end, because it's probably going to be a long email. I remember I texted Ryan and asked him a very specific question. He got back to me a week later and he really quickly, succinctly answered the question. It was a longer text message, but the question itself was he was able probably to read it without even opening it. So that's my habits that I would recommend. Go ahead.
Hi, everybody. My name is Carmen. Oh, hey. My name is Carmen Elizabeth, founder of South Clark Creative Agency, Atlanta native. And my question is around scaling. So I lived the first half of my life backwards, did all the traveling and not a lot of working, some freelancing in the creative space. And recently, about a year ago, I decided to fully transition and build a firm. I talked myself into getting elected to a neighborhood organization represented by MPUE. I've talked myself into some really big opportunities. And just here today, I talked myself into an opportunity that is huge. The contract is signed, everything is happening. My vision is very clear and I'm able to articulate it well, which is, I mean, I don't know how it's gonna happen, but whatever, that's not my problem. So because of that, I'm wondering how much is too much? How fast is too fast? Because as a leader, I do want to be able to be decisive and take advantage of opportunities, create opportunities, but I also don't want to put myself in a situation where I'm, turning it all upside down.
You gotta set this one out. I mean, he might be the worst person in this room to answer your question.
Do you remember me from?
Go as
I'll
fast
tell you to just do
as
it.
far as you can, as quickly as you can.
Your capacity is larger than what you often imagine it can be, but I imagine he would say. That's been the way that I've been coached. I get the heart of what's behind your question, but there are a lot of great people, right, that we can work with to make these things a reality. And I think sometimes we slow down too quickly. Now, speed can kill you, right? You can scale yourself to a problem, right? But like, let's make sure it's a real problem before we back off of it, because
Love that answer.
our businesses are unfortunately, as a category, too small.
Okay. Last week, the call for MSAA, that's one of those situations that I talked myself into where I initially saw you there.
I talk offline.
Okay, thank you.
All right, next question.
Hello, how you doing? Michael Council, EC Technology Consulting Services. I work in cybersecurity consulting. And because you don't really get an opportunity to get many chances to get in front of VCs, and once you make that relationship, outside of the financial aspect, what are some other key things that we can get to help us scale from that VC or network relationship?
Yeah, so the opportunity in front of a VC, all of them, no matter the details that they get into, and the details do matter, what your financials look like, what your plan is, how you're going to scale the business or whatever. At the end of the day, they're investing in people, and you have to come to the room yourself and your team in a way that has them feeling comfortable and confident that the investment that they'll make in you and your team, that all the other stuff that you've said will play out. But they get confidence in that by virtue of how you guys, present and carry yourself and talk about the stuff that you have in your plan. And I think the preparation on that is very important. There's folks that coach on, management meetings is what they're called whenever the VCs come to talk to you about whatever, you're trying to get them to invest in. You have to be prepared and have your team be prepared. Everybody has to have a full handle on everything that you're talking about. That would be what I think.
I don't know specifically about your business, but I'll just say most people in this room don't need venture capital. and we overemphasize that particular vehicle way, way, way too much when it's a very specific thesis that most of our companies and that most businesses generally, that's not a knock on us, that most businesses though are not ever going to fulfill. It's moonshot. If you're building one of those rocket ship companies, then cool. But if you're building a good, sustainable business, do not waste your time going to talk to a person that's looking for hyper growth if that's not the model that you're pursuing.
That principle that I just mentioned, though, it applies no matter if it's a VC or, friends and family. You'd be surprised, friends and family, they're the most scrutinous. They really want to know because they know you, right? They want to make sure, that you got it together and your team got it together. So you have to just, I think that's an important element of being successful in that process, whether it's a VC or, a family member, being prepared and, going to the conversations prepared. Very important.
Okay, so in the meantime, as you're building up in your growth, sorry.
We'll be here. I live here. I'll find you.
Yeah.
All right. Was that the last question? All right. I think we're gonna try to hang out for a few minutes after the event, but we do want to give you guys some time to network and apply some of the things that y'all learned. Can we please give a round of applause for this panel? We need a little bit more than that. And can you give yourselves a round of applause for being so engaged?
Now close off the kickoff of the bridge. He is the president and CEO of the Atlanta Business League.
Fantastic. Let's give them one last round of applause. And for the gentleman, I hope you're still here. I want you to be able to come up and ask. We'll make sure that you get your question asked and answered, okay? So everything you saw and heard tonight ties into the year-long theme for the Atlanta Business League. It's based on 3 simple words. We got you. We got you. We got you. Don't forget that. The way we take care of Black business owners is to provide them with information, and some of it is like the kind you received tonight. Available in other places, but the Atlanta Business League got you. Our next session of the Bridge takes place on Tuesday, March 25th. Our chair, Andrella Kenner, and CEO of CI Squared Aviation will be among the participants. We'll be at Atlanta Technical College. That program will be a little bit different than the one we hosted tonight. By that time, the mentees will have been informed as to who they are. We have a cap mentees of 25. So of the many numbers of applications that we received, we will select 25 for this year. However, you still will be able to attend the roundtable sessions and the town hall meetings. Everyone will be able to do that. And we will have other programs that will help prepare you to move to the next level as a part of this program. They will be nurtured by 8 to 10 mentors. I see one still here. Another had to leave. Nikita Hurt, would you stand? Nikita is one of our mentors. She is with HNTB. She works with business owners to help them get contracts, to direct them in the right direction that they need to go in order to grow their businesses and gain contracts. But she did that for years at the state level also. So she's one of our mentors. Alicia Ivy left. She had another meeting that she had to attend. Alicia has a chain of restaurants associated with airports around the country, and she does other work as it relates to construction. She is a bad sister, just like Nikita, and there are others that you will meet. Dave Moody is not here this evening. He could not be here. He is one of our mentors. Rhonda Briggins, there's several. but look to hear from them. We will connect you all, and they will be mentoring 3 to 4 business owners together. So this is a group project. So one of the things that you will need to do as a part of that group project is get to know each other. I think you heard that tonight, get to know each other, because there's a possibility that you will be able to work together under some circumstances. So it's not all about you, even though it is, but think bigger. We're here to provide the quality and hopefully transformative experience for you that many people who've been in business 20 and 30 years couldn't receive. I wanted to point out something. Yolanda referenced Ryan and the gathering spot is back in the day. I thought that was hilarious. 10 years is back in the day. So but that's real. That's real. I had to point that out. So our selection pool pulls from developing entrepreneurs ages 19 through 40. We want to thank Atlanta Gaslight again. Mr. Pedro Cherry, thank you so very much. Tiffany Calloway Farrell is on the board of the Atlanta Business League, and she is one of the Bridges advisors for this program. So you will be hearing from them at various times throughout the program. But we thank them tremendously for believing in us and walking with us through this process. Our next general ABL event also brings you information not presented by others. It's our annual Congress on the State of Black Business in Metro Atlanta. Check your email for more information. This will conclude the program itself. However, I do want to ask the committee members to come forward for a photo. I want Pedro Cherry, CEO of Atlanta Gaslight, to come forward for a photo. I want you all to stay here for a group photo. You'll still get to them, but we want to do this. We'll do it quickly because I know you want to ask questions. And again, the mentees will be informed in the coming weeks. So I know some of you wanted to hear that tonight, but we want to make sure that we do it right and pour through all of the applications that we receive. Committee members, are you here? What's there? Oh, the QR code, membership, absolutely. How did I get past that? Okay, I think you heard this. The Atlanta Business League is a members-based organization, membership-based, and it's that for a reason. We work closely, first of all, our priority are our members, those who invest in the organization and invest in themselves. So we encourage you to become a member of the organization and build relationships within a group. Mark talked about the group that he's working with right now, that he is gaining information as he works towards his next business, which is just amazing to me. I still say that. Now, I'm going to say something else I hope they will think that it's hilarious, but Mark Wilson and Andrella Kenner, 2 of the most unassuming people that I know with brilliant minds. They don't walk in the room looking for the camera. They don't walk in the room looking for microphone. They just walk in the room with purpose. And I appreciate that. I appreciate that tremendously, and I wanted to bring that up. But they are investing in people and organization and groups. And Mark is not only invested in his son, and the partner of the Gathering Spot, TK Peterson, who was here earlier, but he's investing in people at different levels. Antoinette Ball is doing the same thing through We Up. Her organization is over 25 years old. So there are people not only on stage, but in the room. And we bring them together at different times. So you have to be in the room to get what's in the room. And you need to invest in yourself. The membership is nominal, trust me. You can use that QR code. I don't know if Quentin's in the room, but you can speak with Quentin White outside about membership in the Atlanta Business League. Our goal is to make sure that we create a network of business owners, not only in Atlanta, but in Metro Atlanta, so that we can talk about who we are en masse. And you need to be a part of that. So how many members do I get here tonight? Well, wonderful. We want to make that happen. So make sure to meet someone that you didn't know tonight. But right now, we're going to get this group photo. And then I want to ask the Bridge Committee, Tiffany Callaway Farrell, Jahari Saward, Jeffrey, are you still here? Alex Offer, Bianca Frails, you're already up here, so stay after that photo. Kaylin, Romaine, come to the stage for a photo. And we're going to get CEO Cherry in the middle of all of these photos. And Board Chair, Andrella Kenner. Okay, so give us a few minutes. Okay, first photo will be with the panelists.